have a watch party. So yeah, you got me thinking. It was like, yeah, why aren't we doing that? So it was outstanding, man. It was so good. But to watch her run, it was pretty cool. It's one of those experiences that that's kind of why. It's what makes this thing special. You don't always get these type of experiences, but to me, that embodies the enjoy the ride, because that was pretty cool, man. It was a moment, I can tell you that. So good luck to her in the semis. As you guys know, today's the first day that our fans can be here, and today it's the season ticket holders who, man, I know are the loyal fan base, and man, we're excited to have them out here. And this is what it's all about, man. I said from day one that we wanted to make this special for our fans, for this community, for the city of Detroit, and this is kind of our first time to show them kind of who we are, what we're about. The new vibe we've got going here in Detroit, or what we're trying to build. So this is pretty exciting, and it's also, quite frankly, the first time in a while that our players and fans both have been able to be around each other. I mean, last year, that was you definitely had to create your own energy. So to have these guys back in the house, like I'm not concerned, but I'm a little like, okay, let's make sure we're being smart, guys. Let's get our work in. But I know these guys are going to be juiced up having the fans out there. So just, hey, stay the course here. But this is going to be awesome. This is going to be fun.
Coach, you got a unique perspective. You've been a player for the team, going through a 16 season, still seeing, how passionate these guys are. Just like, what makes Lions fans, I guess, so unique or different than any other situation, especially with, a franchise that haven't won a championship?
Listen, I know it's hard, but they've been able to endure, and they've been able to keep the faith, man. There's hope in another year, hope in a new season, and I think they're resilient, and I think that's what makes them unique. I know it hasn't always been the way that you had hoped it'd been as a fan base, but you know what? I think they're always holding on hope, man. It's coming. Here's the time it's coming, because when that time does come, it's going to be special, unlike any other community. I believe that. I think there's very few cities in this country to where, man, if you can get a winner, it's special, real special. I thought New Orleans was one of them when we were down there. But there really is. There's not a lot of them. But this is one of those places. You win here, and it's special now. Who is this out here? I can't hear anything. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What do you look for David Blau as a second or third quarterback? What does he bring in that role for you?
Yeah, listen. He's well, I can tell you what he brings. He brings somebody that you can trust. And I know we're still kind of early in this process, but to me, ultimately, you want your number 2, your number 3. There again, it's like, do I know I can trust this guy to go in there and not do anything that's going to put us in jeopardy? Is he going to make the right decisions? Is he going to protect the football? At the very least, that's what you're looking for. Can he, can he move the football? I'm not looking for somebody that it's like, we have to be able, this guy's got to make the play. He's got to make all these plays. We have to be able to, we have to rely on this guy. This guy's got to do it by himself. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a guy that I know can function in the offense. He's going to protect the football. He's smart with the situations that we're in. And you run the ball, you give him some throws that that we feel like he can succeed with. And you got to play good defense and special teams, like I said. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I know it's early, but T.J. Hawkinson's looking pretty good out here. Obviously a Pro Bowl player last year in production, but even getting back to the spring, he looked like he built a pretty good rapport with Jared pretty early on. And you've seen that kind of continue on through camp, and just maybe your early impressions of him. I know it's still pretty early, but just what you've seen.
I have seen that, and I think that's one thing that JG has not really had is like a good receiving tight end that he can kind of let go to work and trust that, all right, if the matchup's there, I can go to this guy. Now, I think Tyler Higby at the Rams is a damn good tight end. Believe me, that's not what I'm saying. But Tyler's job description is a little different than Hawk. Now Hawk's got to be able to block, but I think Hawkinson can be a real mismatch in the pass game. That's really where I think can excel. And you can feel Jared wants to go to him now. He sees it, and so I do see that rapport.
Mm-hmm. Throw anything out there with fans here today to kind of capitalize on that juice?
Well, there could be something that would show up, but there again, you got to be careful. I mean, this is the first day the fans are out there, so I just want to make sure. We're in day 4, and they're putting in the work, and you got to be careful that you don't put so much out there that we get something, a lot of soft tissue injuries. But there'll be a couple of little nuggets that'll show up out there.
I wanted to ask you one more about Aubrey Pleasant. I know we asked you yesterday. A lot of your connections to the members of your staff are obvious. That one, not so much, other than maybe a Brad Holmes recommendation. So just curious how Aubrey ended up on your staff, and I guess the interview process, what looked good for you with him?
Yeah, I can tell you that. The first one was, like we said, Brad and Ray Agnew, both of them, because they were out there. That was one. 2 was we'd played the Rams, whatever that's been, 4 times over 3-year period in some big games. So I had pretty intimate knowledge of not only golf, Brockers, but those DBs that AP had been coaching out there, and so you know those guys from an offensive perspective you're playing against, and you're like, man, these guys, so it's like whoever's coaching these guys, they're doing a pretty good job, because not only do they have some pretty good players and some guys that have personalities that you're managing a little bit, but there's also young talent that he's developed out there as well, and so that caught my eye. And I'll be quite honest with you, the fact that he was from Flint intrigued the hell out of me. It really did. I mean, I did not. It meant something a little bit, because he knows better than anybody about what this is about, and so that was actually a bonus. So we're fortunate to have him, and. There again, he's doing a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Carlos.
I want to get back to the fan base, and when you start getting a winner going here, did you ever talk to Sean Payton about that? Because they were a lot of that era before Sean got there with the Ings and kind of went through a similar dry spell. What did you talk about how you become a winner and how you stay a winner?
Yeah, I think more than anything, we never really talked about how or what, or bringing in the fan base. It was more about how do we give the fan base what they want and what they deserve and what they need. And so for me, it's I recognize it. Mine is more about, okay, well, how do we do that here on the grass? I know we want to give it to them, and we need to give it to them, and they deserve it. But that means we got to do our job every day, man. Every day we got to get a little bit better, and for us to do this, man, we got to do our job out there on the field. But I want them to listen, man. I'm all about acknowledging our fans. I really am. So I want our players to have a little fun with this, and I want them to interact a little bit. I do, and because I think that the roster that Brad and I have built here is cut from this cloth. I do. I think that it's cut from people that are just like what's in this community. Got a little bit of chip on their shoulder, have had to overcome adversity, and I think there's a correlation here. I really do.
Several of your players have talked about that, right? Just being overlooked or whatever, maybe that chip on their shoulder. Why is that important? Can you explain that a little bit more? Why do you want that?
Because it motivates you. It motivates you. It's there's nothing better in this game, or any sport for that matter, when you feel like people have overlooked you and that you're not good enough, or you don't do this well enough, or this player's better than you, or somebody got paid more than you did. Whatever your motivation is, it does. It just gives you, if you're a true competitor, it gives you a kick in the rear. It does. And so I like that, and I know the guys that we brought in here, they love it, and because we got something to prove, and we want to prove it.
Let's do 2 more, guys. No team do unity type things with the up downs together with the defense, are you getting a sense that the roster is gaining a sense of bonding and unity the way you want?
I do, and like I brought up yesterday, when you have a new player that comes in and AG sets a tone on defense, and those guys decide on their own they're going to jump in and do the last 10. I know not all of them didn't. I've been poking at some of those guys. But they decided to do that on their own. That's ultimately what you're trying to get on both sides of the ball and special teams. I've told them from day one, listen, at some point, this needs to become your team. Now, we're part of it, but until that time comes, we'll do our job as this staff, and we'll lead you, and we'll show you how it's done, and we'll show you what it's supposed to look like. But at some point, we shouldn't have to really do much of anything other than coach technique. Hey, watch your right foot. You know, hey, it's nickel personnel. It's, you know, hey, watch the cross dog. Watch the strong dog. And those guys handle everything. Somebody jump off sides, they handle it, you know. You got an MA, they handle it. Because the best teams I've ever been on, any of these guys would tell you this, coaches and some of the good players that are on this team, they would tell you the team handles everything themselves because you got the right guys in the right core and the right leadership. And that's what we're trying to get to.
Last question. I think Tracy Walker was the first one to jump into that yesterday. What have you seen from him in terms of being a leader, and how important is that quality in the safety position?
It's huge because they are the master communicators. Not only our inside backers, but they are the ones who kind of run the show back there. They set the table for us in coverage. And so to have a safety that, man, is very vocal, and I'll tell you what, Tracy now is smart as a whip. I got a good Tracy Walker story for you. All right, so basically we come out yesterday and Tracy tells me, hey, coach, on his own he runs up, hey, coach, I'm getting a pick. I'm getting a pick today. And I'm going to bring it to you. I said, okay. You promise? Yeah, I promise. It's coming. We didn't get one. So I told him I'd find him. Last night in 10 minutes, I'm fining you for that, $50. And but I'm going to pay the fine. So I paid the fine. But he owes me too. So, but he's been outstanding, man. I tell you what, he and Will Harris is doing well. There again, I know it's early, but we've been impressed. He is really coming along and picking up this defense, and you can just see the secondary beginning to grow. You can. They're starting to figure this thing out, and they're starting to mesh. So, yes, I see it. It's coming. So we just got to get a tick better every day. Just a little every day. Thanks.